It all started on a work trip. I know, it sounds like the beginning of a bad movie, in a little cafe trying to figure out the local currency. And then she walked in. Her name was Ilara. She had a smile that could light up the entire room, seriously. It was like someone turned on a 1,000-watt bulb. I was fumbling with my coins. She laughed. She came over to help. Just like that, we started talking. It felt like we had known each other for years. It was easy. It was natural, funny, smart, so kind. I was hooked, completely. We spent the next week inseparable. It was a whirlwind. She showed me her world, and I fell in love with it, and with her. We'd stay up late, talking about our dreams, our fears, everything. She told me about her struggles, about wanting a better life. I told her about my quiet life back home, how it felt like something was missing. It felt like I had finally found that missing piece. It was her. It had to be her. On my last day, saying goodbye was the hardest thing I'd ever done. It felt physically painful, like a part of me was being torn away. We promised to talk every day. We promised this wasn't the end. I got on that plane with a heavy heart, but also a hopeful one. I believed in us. It felt too real to be temporary. The visa process was a marathon, a total nightmare of paperwork. There were forms, interviews, and so many documents. It took months. But we did it together. I hired an immigration lawyer. I spent my savings. I wrote letters of support. I did everything I could to prove our relationship was real. Because it was real to me. I started getting our home ready. It was so exciting. I painted the walls her favorite color, a soft sea green. I even tried to learn how to cook her favorite dishes. Let's just say my cooking skills are a work in progress. I would send her pictures of everything. Look, our new coffee maker. What do you think of these curtains? She loved it. She would get so excited, planning where we would put her things. It felt like we were already living together. The anticipation was building every single day. The day her visa was approved was incredible. I remember the call perfectly. She was screaming with joy, crying happy tears. I was jumping up and down in my living room. We did it. It was finally happening. The dream was becoming a reality. Those were the longest 4 weeks of my life. It felt like waiting for Christmas morning when you're a little kid. I bought a huge bouquet of flowers to greet her at the airport. Everything had to be perfect for her arrival. Seeing her walk through those arrival gates was a moment I will never forget. It was even better than in the movies. I ran to her. I picked her up and spun her around. All the waiting, all the money, all the stress, it was all worth it. In that moment, holding her in my arms, I was the happiest man on earth. Then, things started to change. It was slow at first, so slow I almost didn't notice. It started after she got her official residence card. That little piece of plastic seemed to flip a switch. Her laughter didn't seem to reach her eyes anymore. The long, deep conversations we used to have became short and shallow. She started spending more and more time on her phone, smiling at messages from people I didn't know. When I'd ask who she was talking to, she'd just say, "Oh, just friends from back home." But it felt different. There was a distance growing between us, a coldness that hadn't been there before. The physical affection started to fade too. The spontaneous hugs stopped. She started staying up later than me, always on her laptop in the living room. She'd close it quickly if I walked in. It felt like she was living in a separate world, a world I wasn't invited into. I tried to talk to her about it. I'd ask, "Is everything okay? You seem distant." She would always have an excuse. "I'm just tired. I'm stressed about finding a job. I'm just adjusting." She became critical of me. My clothes, my friends, my hobbies. Nothing I did was right anymore. The woman who once called me her hero now looked at me with annoyance. It was heartbreaking. I felt like I was walking on eggshells in my own home. The breaking point for me was one night when I came home early from work. I heard her on the phone in the bedroom laughing, but it wasn't her normal laugh. It was the same joyful, carefree laugh she had with me in the beginning. I heard her say my name, followed by more laughter. My blood ran cold. In that instant, I knew. I just knew. This wasn't just stress or adjustment. This was something else. Something deliberate. The woman I loved was gone, and this new person was wearing her face. The pain was immense. It was, honestly, a physical ache in my chest that just wouldn't go away. I felt like such a fool. Every memory, every "I love you," every promise now felt like a lie. I started digging. I had to know the truth. One evening she left it open for just a minute. I opened her chat history, and there it was. Conversations with a man back in her home country, her real boyfriend. They had planned this from the beginning. The messages were brutal. "Be extra sweet to him now, he's about to pay for the lawyer. He's buying new furniture, the idiot." They laughed about my romantic gestures. I wasn't a person to her. I was a stepping stone, a fool to be used and discarded. The anger gave me clarity. She needed to understand the gravity of what she had done. I came up with a plan. It was a little theatrical, it was a little dramatic. I told her I wanted to celebrate our anniversary. I was going to throw a dinner party with my closest friends. She was suspicious, but the idea of being the center of attention was too much to resist. The night arrived. I was a nervous wreck, but I played the doting partner perfectly. Ilara was in her element, charming everyone. She had no idea what was coming. Then, it was time. I stood up to make a toast. I started by talking about our journey. Then my tone shifted. I started talking about trust, about honesty, and as I spoke I clicked a button on my phone. The wall behind her lit up. It was a screenshot of her conversation, the one calling me an idiot. The room went silent. Ilara's face went from a radiant smile to pure horror. I kept clicking. More screenshots, their plan, photos of them together. When I finished I looked right at her. There were no more tears left to cry. The performance is over. You have until morning to pack and get out. The next morning, she was gone. I had taken back my life.